Hey guys, Kazar here again with another video. Today I want to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2. I've been trying to figure the game out. And it's been going well. There's actually no hair falling off of my head. And I think I figured it out. But I don't want to spoil it too much because I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is all about your own experience. But let's get into it. To begin, I want to talk about the world. It's really hard to find exactly how big it is. There are no numbers in the web. But through my research, I found out that the first game had a map that was roughly a half or a third of the size of Skyrim's map, which is 41 kilometers squared. And the dev said that the second game should have a map that's roughly 4 times the size of the first one, with some arguing for it to be even bigger. And just for comparison, Elden Ring had a map that was 79 kilometers squared, so we're getting a pretty big
That's
game.
pretty good.
But regardless of size, the world of Dragon's Dogma 2 is unlike any other. Besides having the usual day and night cycle, it's a breathing, living, dynamic world. Enemies roam freely, meaning you won't be finding the same ones in the same spot every time. Not to mention the big ones that are around, like harpies, ogres, griffins, wyverns, chimeras, and much more that we'll find out when the game comes out. And don't be fooled by the proximity to the starting area. Those enemies are not scaled down. So you better know when to pick your fights, or maybe just come back later when you're stronger to slay those foes or explore that area further. Even more, knowing that those same enemies can run away and call reinforcements to the area, so you better finish them all off. Besides the open areas, you can also find dungeons, caves, temples, villages, puzzles, cities, and probably even more. The idea of exploring around was meticulously, this is a fucking hard word for me to say. The idea of exploring around was meticulously planned, just like game director Hideaki Itsuno said. First and foremost, we put a lot of emphasis on the density of the map. When it's your first time visiting some place, we try to design it in a way so that you could see the goal where you're going to, but there is no clear path. If you're going to a place and you can see the road, it's just a straight road. It's not that exciting to go through the straight route. But if you can see where you're going, but you're not sure how you get there, you get probably more excited. And related to the world is questing. Apparently Dragon's Dogma 2 is taking a very hands-off approach in many areas of the game, and questing is also one of them. You acquire quests from NPCs around the world, in both cities and on the go, just like you would have in Skyrim or Fallout or open world games in general. And your relation to said NPCs affects if you're able to get those quests or no. Nothing new there, right? But DD2 has also no quest markers. I like to compare this one to the idea of like an adventures guild you would have in fantasy shows or anime, where your rank and your relationship determine the quests you get. You're given a direct, and if you don't know the region, your life gets harder, just like in real life. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna have to ask for information or explore by yourself. And not only that, but there are quests which are timed, so you could miss out on them, which could lead to a bit of FOMO or frustration, but hey, it's part of the game experience, and honestly, I think it makes for good replayability. The whole questing experience seems to be really organic and integrated into the world, kinda like Witcher 3, where you would just get quests from random NPCs around the world. Oh, and by the way, in DD2, NPCs can die. And when I mean die, it's dead, gone, dusted. They can be revived, yes, but you need special items for that, and I believe it's also time gated, so you have a few days that you can go down to the morgue and revive those NPCs. Otherwise, they are just... Also from the concept of developing your relation to NPCs also comes the Vocation Meisters. These special NPCs are scattered throughout the map and are responsible for honing your skills in a determined vocation or class, or also switching between them, so you can switch freely between classes throughout the game. And as you progress your relation with them, they will give you new skills or special super strong skills to that vocation called Meister Teachings. And from here, we can talk about combat. In Dragon's Dogma 2, combat is a bit different from usual. Even though you have your typical classes such as a warrior, sorcerer, ranger, thief, and also special classes that are also in the game, they all have their special characteristics. For example, dodging, parrying, staggers are not available as a standard moveset like you would have in a Souls game, Monster Hunter, Genshin, or most recent ARPGs. Those moves are locked behind specific vocations. And even if at first that might sound bad, it serves a purpose. DD2 is not a game where you are the hero of the story, smashing everything and killing gods.
Together we will devour the very god.
You are constantly being supported by your party of pawns, so party composition and gearing them plays a big role into having a successful adventure. You want to use the tactic advantages your pawn skills and the terrain around can provide in order to overcome those encounters, since just mashing your enemy is not the only way to actually defeat them. You can scare them away, you can trick them into falling off a cliff, you can attack weak spots to stagger or weaken, you can play around the elemental weaknesses which make a fight really easy or extremely hard in the absence of, and these are just a few. As we play the game, we'll probably find many more. Also, DD2's combat make you think about stamina management. If you run out, your character won't be able to move and will sit still just for a moment to catch some breath, and that will leave you open to attacks, just like you would have in Monster Hunter, for example. Also, stats in Dragon's Dogma 2 evolve in a different manner as in a normal RPG. You don't allocate your points, they get allocated as you level up and are influenced by the vocation you chose. In DD1, you had to switch between vocations in order to level up some stats, which could lead in you playing a vocation that you didn't like. But devs said that in DD2, even though there is a focus on those vocation-aligned stats, the other ones will also increase as you level up in order to not fall behind. And unlike companions in games such as Skyrim, Outer Worlds, Grand Blue, Final Fantasy XV, the pawns in DD2 are very intelligent, and they learn more as you progress in your adventure. For example, if you hire a pawn from someone else who is ahead of you or has already explored areas where you're going through, the pawns will give you hints and tips where to find treasure, enemies, and what to watch out for, just as how you can customize your own pawn to suit your own needs. He can be more aggressive in combat, he can pick up items for you, or also how they behave. Also, we know that the pawns can be affected by a disease called Dragon's Plague, and that it can be transferred across worlds. So if you hire a pawn that's already infected from someone else, that can infect your pawns in your whole party. We don't have much detail on it, but what we know is that it makes your pawn more bold and aggressive in their behavior, but it also buffs their power, making them much stronger. But also beware, it's said that letting the disease develop to its later stages leads to catastrophe, so watch out. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the game too much, so in the end, DD2 is a game about exploring the world at your own pace and leisure. You're gonna need time and some level of patience to actually get the hang of the game and the world. It's much more about the journey of becoming a fully fledged adventurer or arisen, where it seems there are no actual wrong answers, just your own way of going about the game. Experiencing everything at your own pace and learning to play the game in your style. It seems to have a certain learning curve that we haven't seen so often in recent games. So tell me, are you playing Dragon's Dogma 2? The game is coming out really soon. I'm super excited to play it. I'm gonna be streaming it live. So tell me what you think about the game. Write a comment down below. I read them all, so I would love to hear your opinion. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, leave a subscribe, and watch out for more. And Xar out.